Nobody's texting war plans. Well, I noticed this morning out came something that doesn't look like war plans. And as a matter of fact, they even changed the title to attack plans because they know it's not war plans. There's no units, no locations, no routes, no flight paths, no sources, no methods, no classified information. You know who sees war plans? I see them. Every single day. I looked at them this morning. I looked at attack plans this morning. You know who does attack plans?
I think that was a little louder than.
Yeah, I had to take little things out. That's all right.
No. Sorry to the audience. It wasn't that loud earlier, but I guess that background helicopter just got picked up and blasted it. But we get the point of it.
What is the point of it? Do you think?
Well,
I don't know why Hegseth is even involved and why they're calling for his resignation. If anybody, they should be calling for the resignation of Mike Waltz and Alex Wong, but that's guys who they are working with secretly.
Right. Who probably
they've tipped their hands here, bro. They've tipped their hands.
I'm with Rich on that. Rich Barris was talking about it, and I think he's right. That they went immediately from Mike Waltz leaked it to this guy was putting out bad information. Now, let's step back for a second. If Jeffrey Goldberg was not on that chain, then it was just a conversation. None of us would know about it. Nothing ever would have happened. It would
rightfully so, right?
Completely irrelevant. They just had a discussion, moving on. By putting Goldberg in the chain, that was the problem. That's what's got this spinning out there and exaggerating with the plans. Now, I'm not going to pretend it's good. It's obviously not good. It's a horrible thing. You don't want one of the worst critics of Trump being on a signal chat chain. That's horrible. But Hegseth didn't put him on the chat. Hegseth is just a guy who's getting briefed, who asked him for the information.
You could go after Ratcliffe in the same regard then.
Well, exactly. And
you could go after Tulsi in the same regard then.
Mm-hmm.
The point of the matter is, it's this guy, Alex Wong. Everybody knows who it is. This communist Chinese guy who is somehow was Mitt Romney's personal advisor. Apparently, what's been exposed to me and to others is the immense power in the intelligence community by Tom Cotton, who immediately came out and said he worships Alex Wong and his wife, and they're super patriotic. Alex Wong was involved in Afghanistan, putting together the post-Afghanistan legal system, which reminds me of a guy named Eugene Muret, the first cousin and actually the brother of Lee Harvey Oswald, who was put in charge of putting together the legal system in Bosnia following the war, Eric, as we've discussed in the Muret episode. That, and believe me this, with Wong, was run with the case of Muret by USAID. Wong is linked to USAID by having that assignment through the State Department, by the way, that he was when he was in Afghanistan.
Also, I don't know if you saw it. Apparently, he's the one who got Grinnell thrown off of the Romney campaign for being gay.
Dude, the guy's got to go. I mean, let me ask you something. If it was me and you, and somebody texted Jeffrey Goldberg, all I've got to do is ask you for your phone and let me see your text messages. Somebody's got a phone with text messages, and his name is Alex Wong. This is not rocket science here. The guy should be stricken immediately. The longer this lingers, the deeper they burrow in, Eric. We went through this the first term. It's extremely frustrating. It's extremely frustrating. It's got nothing to do with, it's got something to do, obviously, with Waltz and Wong and that whole area. And the quicker they get rid of these two douchebags, the better we'll be able to sleep at night.
I agree. Now let's talk.
I'm sorry. You want to tell Mike Waltz? Tell Mike Waltz, we're very sorry, but we can't take any chances. We're going to err on the side of caution. Thank you for your service here for a couple of months, but you got to go, bro.
Well, not only that, what about Mike Waltz's old boss?
Yeah, how about, dude, how about that? You know, it took me 5 seconds of researching Mike Waltz, because I didn't know who he was. Some obscure congressman from Florida whose seat is now completely in jeopardy in a Trump T30 district. This guy Fine is such a bad candidate that they're tied dead heat on a merry-go-round. And again, a special election that's happening this Tuesday in Florida, along with the other special election for Gates's seat, the Stefanik thing. Luckily, Eric, you remember how I railed about it.
We both.
I wouldn't shut up about taking this woman and putting her in the UN. They were so cocky about it. Sure, we'll win the seat. Well, now it's coming down to, you got to spend blood and treasure. You got to send Trump in now to this Mike Waltz seat. You got to spend money. Hey, how about leaving congressional seats alone and picking anybody? Take Oz to make him the head of the UN. Who cares? Who cares who that? These are ceremonial jobs. You never, ever take somebody out of a seat you've won to give them a ceremonial job, especially when you've got a 1-seat majority. For the love of God, this is politics 101, Eric. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, as you and I discussed in November. We talked about it 5 times on this show, for Christ's sake.
Well, and now we have the problem in Wisconsin where Elon is literally having to fly in, drop millions of dollars to pay off.
Why do they wait till the last minute? You and I talked about this thing in November. We talked about California. We talked about Wisconsin. We talked about Florida. We talked about Stefanik in upstate New York. And now, holy crap, somebody looked up on the scoreboard and saw that we have a 1-seat majority. This chick, Susie Wiles, has got to go. I'm sorry for your loss. She's a nearly 70-year-old grandmother from Florida. These are all her picks out of the swamp of Florida. Somebody's got to go. The longer it festers, the worse it's going to get. Drive a stake into them and do it now, Eric.
I agree. And I don't think they're going to pull out Wisconsin. I think they're going to lose Waltz's seat.
Yes, absolutely going to lose.
It's looking really freaking awful.
What a schmucky operation. Stop signing executive orders and get somebody off their fat ass who knows about electoral politics. Get Steve Bannon in there or somebody who knows how these numbers work. I mean, Steve Miller is great, but that's not his expertise.
Yeah, well, I mean, Miller's doing great. He's doing his job. I have no problem with Miller or any of that. That's fine. And somebody saying make him chief of staff. It's like, no need. He's actually probably better not. He's busy writing strategy and things like that. He doesn't have time to run around chasing people.
Right.
He's a brain. He's exactly where he should be. But I don't know. It is a mess.
It's a mess. I mean, it's so shocking that I don't care that they're on Signal, but look who the chairman of the board of Signal is, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah,
take a look at that. Her. How about that woman? Why? She's the chairman of the board of everything. This chick.
She's
if you're a knockout blonde who's woke, you could get a lot of mileage out of that.
Oh yeah, and has some really fun testimony too.
That was fun. Yeah, that was fun. This guy was great. Whoever this guy is.
Do you believe that America is addicted to white supremacy?
I believe that I tweeted that, and as I've said earlier, I believe much of my thinking has evolved over the last decade.
Oh boy,
it has evolved. Why did you tweet that?
I don't recall the exact context, sir, so I wouldn't be able to say.
No.
Okay. Do you believe that America believes in black plunder and white democracy?
Right on.
Don't believe that, sir.
You tweeted that in reference to a book you were reading at the time, apparently, The Case for Reparations.
I don't think I've ever read that book, sir.
Tweeted about it. You said you took a day off to fully read The Case for Reparations. You put that on Twitter in January 2020.
Okay, what I love about this real quickly, I'm going to let him continue. So either she didn't read the book and she lied to her own people, virtue signaling back then, or she's lying right now in front of Congress. So this is a beautiful trap.
It's a beautiful trap. It's a beautiful trap for this evil Contessa. Oh my God, she's like a warlord. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Apologies, I don't recall that I did.
Okay.
I'd no doubt that your tweet there is correct, but I don't recall.
Not his tweet. Your tweet.
Do you believe that white people inherently feel superior to other races?
I do not.
You don't. You tweeted something to that effect. You said, I I grew up feeling superior. Ha, how white of me. Why did you tweet that?
Yeah.
I think I was probably reflecting on what it was to grow up in an environment where I had lots of advantages.
It sounds like you're saying that white people feel superior.
I don't believe that anybody feels that way, sir.
Nobody
Just
depending on my
you,
own
just
experience.
Just
Do you
you.
think that
Nobody
white
does.
people should pay reparations?
No.
I have never said that, sir.
Yes, you did right here.
Yes, you did. Said it in January of 2020. You tweeted, yes, the North. Yes, all of us. Yes, America. Yes, our original collective sin and unpaid debt. Yes, reparations. Yes, on this day.
I don't believe that was a reference to fiscal reparations, sir.
No,
reparations was it a
come on,
reference to?
lady.
I think it was just,
His answer though, look at his laugh. He's like, what kind of reparations
That
was
guy's
it?
good. He's pretty good.
Reparations. What's it a reference to?
I think it was just a reference to the idea
Emotional
that we all owe
Emotional.
much to the people who came
Well,
before us.
That's a bizarre way to frame what you tweeted. Okay, how much reparations have you personally paid?
Good one.
Sir, I
Paid
don't
zero.
believe that I've ever paid reparations.
Okay, it's just for everybody else.
I'm not asking anyone
Seems
to pay
to be what you're
reparations, sir.
suggesting. Do you believe that looting is morally wrong?
I believe that looting is illegal, and I refer
Mhm.
to it as counterproductive. I think
not
it should
the
be
question.
prosecuted
Do you believe
to the
it's
full extent of the
morally
law.
wrong, though?
Of course.
Of course. Then why did you refer to it as counterproductive? It's a
Uh,
very different way to describe it.
It is both morally wrong and counterproductive, as well as being
You
illegal.
tweeted, it's hard to be mad about protests in reference to the BLM protests, not prioritizing the private property of a system of oppression.
Whoa.
You didn't condemn the looting. You said that it was counterproductive. NPR also promoted a book called In Defense of Looting. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars?
What's that about? What's that
I'm
about?
unfamiliar with that book, sir. And
No,
I
it's a
didn't
great
spend
book.
my
You
time at
tweeted that
NPR.
you read that book, but
I don't believe that I did
Oh.
read that.
Oh my God, Eric. I mean,
he
not
does
only-
a good job.
he does a great job. Not only is she the head of NPR, she's a member of the Council of Foreign Relations. She worked for UNICEF, which we have to get out of that. The National Democratic Institute, which I assume is some USAID thing, the World Bank, and Access Now before joining Wikimedia Foundation,
Yep.
and the Atlantic Council, and the U.S. Department of State's Foreign Affairs Policy Board. Who the hell is this chick? I mean, it's one thing to be the head of NPR and be some newswoman who rose up or executive, but this is the queen of the deep state. She's going to win the award at the end of the year, being the greatest deep state chick in the history of deep state.
She deserves it too, because she was
Yeah.
completely under our radar. By the way, she even did a TED talk. Did you see that?
Yes, I have seen that.
Yeah. Okay. Her TED
Of course, she's
talk.
hot.
was-
I didn't watch it. The only reason I watch it because I'm a weak man. But the
Oh, okay.
reality, I did not know all this other stuff. You're correct.
Okay, well, in the TED talk, she literally was in defense and saying that the truth is not what we're going for,
That's
because
right.
there- all
That's
of
right.
us have different truths, Mark. It's our
And the First
experiences.
Amendment. She's talked in that same. It might have been the same TED talk. She talked about the First Amendment, how it's a roadblock to them or whoever they are at NPR. I mean, this whole thing's got to go. I mean, you can't even have this station anymore. I saw what's his name on, the head of the FCC, Brendan Carr, and ironically, his office is out the window. He sees NPR out of his window at the FCC, which I thought was funny, and he keeps going over there to look for their records. So this is going to be really fascinating to see what they do, without the money from the federal government.
By the way, that Congressman, is either Brandon or Brendan Gill, who was questioning her. that did a
Where is
great
he
job.
from? Does it say,
He's
or-
out of Texas. He is a freshman.
Love this
congressman,
guy. Love
and he's
this
apparently
guy.
president of the freshman class. So, like,
Love that.
he was kind of voted in as their main up and coming new guy, and he's really throwing down. Great start. I hope we get to see more of him.
I hope that we get to see less of Alex Wong and Mrs. Wong, who apparently pro bono wise helped prosecute and persecute the January 6ers.
Yes.
So the fact that these two people are near the White House is insane. What is fucking wrong with this administration when it comes to hiring? The only thing I can think of is there's not enough populace to go around. I mean, is that possible, Eric? That there's just not enough experienced Trump people who can operate in this space?
There are so many positions
Yeah.
that he has to fill.
Yeah.
And I mean, the dude's busy. It's very difficult to get all of them, especially if you have favors owed, things like that. And the guy's a deputy. He's not even a top guy, so he should.
No,
be
he's
easier
second
to
in
get
command
rid
to
of.
Waltz. He's
No, I
second.
understand
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
but it's easier to get rid of
Oh,
second in command
yeah.
and just shovel him out and move
Yeah.
somebody else in. That
Oh,
almost
yeah.
makes him scarier,
Right.
because that is typically deep state level. Second
Yeah.
in command, third, but those people are the ones who keep lingering, administration after
Well,
administration.
I mean, it's great. His wife, you just go, how's your wife doing? Trump says to him, right? So what does he say when he sees Trump? How's your wife doing? Okay, his wife served as a law clerk to Obama-appointed U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. Okay, that's his wife. That alone says, you know what? Take your wife, take your chopsticks, and get the fuck out. I mean, it's too much, Eric. It's just too much. I'm just angry that it's happened. I don't even care about this guy. It just angers me that we've come this far and it's happening again.
Yes.
Then she worked for Covington and Burling, which is one of the law firms that recently stripped of their security clearances by Trump. Yikes. And then Tom Cotton has to come out and say, oh, no, these two people are above reproach because I, Tom Cotton, have decided as a rhino in charge of nothing that these two people are above reproach.
Yeah, wow. And Waltz himself is a rhino who was buddies with him. What was it? Rich pointed out that Burr would have come out, except he got caught with the insider trading and finally was shoved out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Burr's gone. Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, this guy Cotton is going to be the new Mitch McConnell. You know, I mean, this guy is just burrowed in for the war. He is like hunkered down in there, you know, with his CIA deep state intelligence connections. Wow.
By the way, not to leave the Signal story, there's yet another piece of it that's ugly. U.S. security officials' passwords are found online, including a lot of people in the Signal chat.
Wow. Well, so these people they got to go crazy now. They have to go crazy and just jettison people now. I mean, this is again. I mean, again, I don't care about Pete that much. I mean, but if you're going to take somebody with the lack of administrative ability, and Mike Waltz with no legislative ability, and these other people with no skills in this area, something's going to give because you're up against snakes, Eric.
Well, how the hell do you become national security advisor? Yeah. I mean, that's just such a weird.
It's so weird. It's so out of coming out of Florida. It's Susie Wiles. Nobody would pick this guy in a million effing years, Eric. He was off everyone's radar.
I mean, how about like Mike Benz? You know, or somebody, you know,
of
his ilk, because he's
been in there before,
oriented.
Mike Benz.
Exactly. And
he knows cybersecurity inside and out. I nominate Mike Benz for deputy director of national security.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I find it confusing. Why you have throwing this congressman? What's his background? I think he was a vet of some kind.
He was a vet, but he was also the advisor to Dick Cheney.
Right.
I mean, is it so hard to find out he was the personal advisor to the evilest warlord in the history of American politics? A guy who hates your guts, who has vowed to destroy you? You're going to hire his advisor? What the fuck? I mean, Eric, come on.
No, I agree. This is an interesting point. Fritzy21 said Wong is an Acela Republican. That's a great name. The Acela corridor. From Washington to New York. Acela corridor.
Okay.
You know, like entrenched Republican.
Okay.
I like that term. I think
give him a job washing cars. He doesn't have to be in charge of national security, for Christ's sakes.
No, he could. You know what? He could have been the UN guy.
Yeah, put him over there. Yeah, but then you're going to lose the seat anyway.
Yeah, which is.
How about he stayed where he was? How about that for an idea? And maintain that seat for the rest of the administration's term. That would have been the best thing that ever happened to us. Mike Waltz, congressman. Same with Matt Gaetz. Why did Matt Gaetz have to give up that fakakta seat? You couldn't just stay until we got through this mess? Give me a break. I mean, what is the deal here? It's people giving up seats left and right like they're tickets at a movie or something.
Right, and I get it. You know, if Gaetz said, okay, this is my last round, and then help find a successor to get elected, but he just literally won the election and said, oh, you know what, never mind.
Right.
That kind of sucks.
It's too much. It's just too much. It really is. And now like I said, I mean, I don't know if we're going to win these seats. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at least we did get one piece of good news that got completely overshadowed, sadly, and that's supposedly we got a top MS-13 leader who
Wow.
was living in Northern Virginia.
Wow.
They've known about this guy living there for a while, apparently.
He may have been working for the Democrats, for all we know. I mean, why be so close to power? I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not operate? Go to New York or something. I mean, go to Miami. That would seem like a place for these Henry Jasu, whatever his name is.
Yes, it's Henry Jasu Villatoro Santos, I guess. I don't know how you say it, but yep, they popped him this morning. Not this morning, sorry, 2 days ago, but it kind of got overshadowed completely.
Yeah.
Because Signal Gate, why does everything have to be a gate? That just drives me
That's
insane.
ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Even
how
during Reagan,
about the phrase constitutional crisis? How many effing times do we have to hear this phrase throughout America? Not just this week, but just, I mean, at some point, it's like the word racist. It's just a boy cries wolf.
Right. I mean, at least during Reagan, we had the Iran-Contra affair.
That
was nice. That was a good one.
That's what the British usually call it, an affair, or the French call it the Dreyfus affair. It's usually an affair.
Okay. A little variety in the language. Don't have to portmanteau.
This is pretty good. I just heard Pam Bondi was on Fox today.
Really? Finally?
Yeah. Pam Bondi, this time wearing a beautiful turtleneck, a black turtleneck with some sort of jewelry around her neck. She's saying the DOJ will not enter plea negotiations with the Las Vegas Tesla firebomber.
20 years.
Which is a state charge, unless she's going to use federal terrorism charges, which it doesn't say. We're seeking 20 years in prison. They're setting off bombs, blah, blah, blah. This is the best line of the article. They better cut it. They better cut it out. They better cut it out. I mean, that puts the fear of Jesus.
A strongly worded letter.
They better cut it out. Because we are coming after you, and at my direction, there will be no negotiating on these people, is what she said. Dude, she must have a show, like a different stage, a sound stage at Fox now, because she's been on 25 times since she was sworn in. I don't know. What is the deal? I mean, there's other people in the administration. Not one of them has been on Fox, as far as I know.
No, I think
who's been on there from
the Treasury people have been on there a couple times.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, they're selling his financial package.
No, they're supposed to. That's cool. I mean,
right?
Yeah. No, she lives there.
She definitely lives there.
Yeah, Besant has been there a few times, but yeah. But again, that's having to educate the public. That I think is a good thing, because he is trying to sell economic plans, and you definitely want people who are experts to go out there and say, this is what we're doing and why. No problem. Elon has been on Fox a couple times. He was just on with Brett Baer last night.
Right.
But yeah,
well, he's got a lot of splaining to do. So he's got to go places and tell people what's going on, because just to overcome the misinformation about him. But she seems more and more like a spokesperson, Eric, as this goes on, that there are real people who are former Trump lawyers running the Department of Justice. And we discussed the phone that Kash Patel put in directly as a hotline to the president. First time in American history, as far as I know, that the FBI director has a direct line to the president around the attorney general. Never heard of that before. That's a weird one.
Yeah, it is very, very, very weird.
Did you see Marjorie Taylor Greene screaming at that British reporter? It was very entertaining, because some British woman comes up and actually has a British accent, and it just like triggers her like a flag to a bull. And she goes, "Where are you from?" And it's obvious where she's from. And she starts asking her a question, and she just starts screaming at her. I mean, I love this bitch. She is so entertaining and effective. She could do no wrong, and neither could Laura Loomer, to be honest with you. There's these women that they obviously have character defects, but I overlook them because they're so brassy and ballsy.
All right. Well, speaking of that, did you see Tim Burchett being approached by a reporter earlier? Thought this was kind of a funny little exchange.
Congressman Perry, do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
You trust your mother every night to fix your hot pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on.
That gets the award. I take it back. I thought Marjorie Taylor Greene had it.
Bert, that was a pretty good one.
That takes a good one. Holy crap. You shame my nerdy autistic friend.
Do you trust your mother to
the hot pockets? Oh my God. Dude, I love how they wait outside, with their Twitter accounts, with their cell phones, trying to ambush these cats. I mean, don't get a life.
The smugness of his tone too is just beautiful.
How they roll up on these guys and ambush them. I'm surprised they don't punch him in the face. I really am.
Well, it's better than Crockett, because Crockett, InfoWars is doing it, and she just grabbed the camera from the guy.
I think they're suing her.
Sorry, it's Laura Loomer's person.
Laura Loomer. Yeah, Loomer went after her. I think she's pressing charges.
Trying to, They've got a report in and everything. But okay, while you're talking about Pam Bondi, let's jump to this. I saw this. You posted this, I think, earlier from Wayne Root saying Trump is.
I was going to mention that just now. Go ahead.
Yeah, but there's one thing he has not done. Thousands of my fans are asking, where are the arrests?
I feel the same way. And I'm a big fan of Wayne Root. I mean, where are the arrests? I don't care anymore about anything else. I just want somebody to do a perp walk in handcuffs for some crime from the previous administration. Is that too much to ask? There's got to be somebody you can arrest right now for crimes that happened.
I think they did arrest somebody, but it's not for the crimes. There was an FBI guy. I wish I saved it. That they grabbed at the airport. The person was literally leaving the country. So. I think they did serve in the previous administration. It may not be exactly what we want, but that's one.
Well, let's put his name and let's see a perp walk. I mean, there's a way to do this. As Al Gonzalez and Alan know, you perp walk them, and it's for publicity purposes. It is done for a reason.
Yep, and
look at the Mangione case. He had the longest perp walk in American history. The entire Hudson Pier. That whole pier was like a whole football field long of perp walks. The cops know how to do it.
Yeah, that was an astounding perp walk. But no, I'm not going to rule it out yet. I still know that there's a lot to the investigations. If they want to lock them down, I'll wait. If they do the perp walks in 3 months, 4 months, I'll be satisfied. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay. I still don't see any indictments, and I still don't see any arrests.
Well, grand juries are secret, so
we're coming into April. I mean, people's patience are running thin, and that's the point that Root is talking about. Me too. Something's got to give. We didn't wait 4 years to be patient into this administration. I'm sorry. They damn well know that people are impatient about this because we just survived a revolutionary coup with these maniacs running the country for 4 years. People are going to forget. The longer you drag this out, the less people are going to remember about how vicious they were, Eric.
Oh God. Okay. I just saw this headline flash by. You got to give it to JD Vance. JD Vance arrives in Greenland. It's cold as shit here. Nobody told me.
That's funny. They cut a did you see the commercial they cut for the Marines with him?
No.
Oh my God, a recruitment commercial with him.
Nice.
Dude, he might as well just become the next Republican president of the United States after this commercial. It is so impressive. He's shooting. Wow. He's with the men. He's in uniform. Dude, I'm going, go. I thought he'd be it was like a movie.
Well, you do realize he's going to be our first veteran, like actual veteran, since George H.W. Bush.
Yeah.
Because W was National Guard. I'm not going to count that as the same.
No, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
JD Vance, now he was technically a PAO or, a journalist.
Yeah.
Like Matthew Modine and Full Metal Jacket or whatever. But
he had a fight, Modine. Remember, he had to grab a gun there halfway through the movie.
Well, and I think he did go into battle areas potentially in the Middle East, Iraq or wherever. So,
but he was so comfortable with the Marines. He gave a speech, and then he ate with them, unlike Grandpa Biden did with that pizza running down his face when he went over there. And you could see how they were comfortable with him. And then he's on the firing range, just shooting off rounds of whatever. And I'm going like, holy crap, this is an action hero. They ought to make a doll of him already.
Oh God, PP said, "Oh, careful, Eric. Don't hate on the guard." I'm not hating on the guard. I'm just talking about levels of involvement. I was active. People who are active tend to say that they do more. Now, there are guard members that have served time and in the Middle East and saw action. No skin, good on them too.
Yeah.
While we're at it, Harry Enton. This guy, Harry Enton, is kind of fun to watch.
Oh yeah, he's entertaining, Eric.
Obviously he's kind of a lefty, but he's still
than he was at any point in term number one, and more popular than he was when he won election back in November of 2024. What are we talking about? His net favorable rating right now comes in at -4 points. Compare that to where he was when he won in November of 2024, when he was at -7 points, or March of 2017, when he was at -10 points. So when you compare Trump against himself, he's actually closer to the apex than he is to the bottom of the trough. And of course, that's so important because Donald Trump, historically speaking, has had his.
Look at she just
Look at how
like
happy
a bowl
this
of
woman
shit.
is. Look at how happy the woman is in the clown pantsuit.
Oh, her face is just tightening.
Okay, I mean the numbers are insane. There's I think he's the guy who did the white college educated women thing.
He did. He also did the county thing. Remember?
Right.
I think it was him. Yeah, the county map, where it's like
the numbers are like 27% of white college educated women support Trump. The numbers were super lopsided. And I did some math on it, and it turns out that, first of all, I did some math on white college educated women. They are 9% of the population. They are our arch nemesis. This is who we're up against. This is what the war is about, these 9%. But it's not even 9%, because in the 9% is a 60-40 split of conservative white college educated women, maybe 37%. It's a little vague, but it's like a 60-40 split in the 9%. So this army, this intellectual estrogen fueled army that we're up against, is really like 6% of the population, Eric. That's who is driving this crazy train right now. Now, obviously, they're in positions of power. You know what I mean? They're in positions.
No, 100%. And also they've infested the colleges, and the vast majority. Jordan Peterson said that the other night. I was listening to an interview he did with Megyn Kelly, and I was like, never thought about it. He said it's moving away. He said left and right's gone. He said it's actually feminine versus masculine.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And he proves it. The same guy with those other. I took a screen grab for you when I sent you. I don't know if you saw that, where he put the numbers up on. I think it's the same guy from CNN.
It is him. Yeah, it was a bad screen, but yeah, he essentially. It
was male versus female, is what you're saying,
right? But the only people left are holding up the entire Democrat Party are women. It's like the 26
white college-educated women. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they lost a bunch of them. Don't forget, they lost Shanahan. She departed with her money. This Lou, the Asian chick who was their chief fundraiser, she's walked away.
Yeah.
Right?
Controversially, I'll get David talking about her. He gets very, very.
Did you see David in Washington? My new movie is coming out in the fall called Viva Goes to Washington, where he plays himself in the movie. It's a drama, but it's based on some fact, where he hooks up with RFK and other people in Washington.
Yeah, I saw the picture of him with RFK. I didn't see any of his interviews or the broadcasts from him. I never got a chance to look.
No, I didn't see that either. I just.
But congratulations to him that he.
What if it turns out in my movie, which I'm working on right now, he's a Canadian spy. He burrows his way into the good graces of the American government, only to do the bidding of the Tories, or whoever they are up there. I guess the Tories. Who did we fight in the Revolutionary War? The Tories.
Well,
right?
Starting with us, he's already infiltrated us.
He's infiltrated us, and he's working his way up, and now it's RFK Jr. And he was there with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Oh yeah, this is it. The 29% positive is 69% white men and Trump, 29% white college women. But I'll say this: white college women has a good chunk who are conservative white college women, maybe 30%. So Those numbers are a little bit off, but that minus 38 is powerful. Powerful. There's no other group like that in America. There's no other group like that.
Well, I've never had this upside down too, because it's overwhelmingly, white men. No
Although
degree,
maybe black women, maybe even more.
Maybe
non-college educated black women, maybe even more than that.
Except for non-college educated black men like Trump.
No, right. I'm not even talking about it. I'm just talking about it within the women demographic, because as you said, this is a male-female split like we've never had before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jordan Peterson brought up another point that was very interesting too, though. He said that women trail men by 5 years. He said because generally women
in age or
right. So what we're looking at right now, because the young men are more conservative than any other generation. Than like World War II or something, way back.
Generation Z.
But not the women. And as he put it, so about 5 years from now, it's going to linger. He said because women tend to prefer males 5 years older, in terms of maturity deal. So
okay, interesting.
I thought that was very interesting.
Very interesting
point that he made as well, that it's coming. That the
well, boy, I hope they run Bernie Sanders and AOC. That would be the greatest losing ticket since McGovern, in my humble opinion. And if they should run Crocker, Crockett. What's her name? Crockett? Betty Crockett?
Jasmine Crockett. She's
the daughter of Betty Crockett?
I think that
or the interracial relationship between Davy Crockett in Texas and a black slave woman.
I don't know. But
okay.
Anyway, speaking of Bernie, I've actually got a quote of it. He did not like this question at all because of AOC. I don't know if you saw him.
Oh, I did see this. This is great.
I helped form the Progressive Caucus. We had 5 people in it at that time. Now they got close to 100. So you got a whole lot of good people. Alexandra is extraordinary.
Yeah.
I am so impressed by her work in Congress.
Right on.
She inspires young people all over the country.
To have erections.
Would you like to see her join in the Senate?
Right now, we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more. This is important.
Well,
wait.
Okay.
You want to do nonsense? Do nonsense.
No.
I don't want to talk about inside the bubble stuff. I got 32,000 people.
I was just asking you about AOC.
32,000.
Well, fine, but I don't want to talk about this.
He really did not want to talk about her being in the Senate. That was
wow.
I thought that was such an interesting little. And
well, there's no answer for him, because if he says yes, the phone's going to ring, going, "Hey, it's me, Chuck Schumer. What are you talking about, you piece of shit?" And then he's got to answer to Chuck Schumer, and God knows that must be harsh.
Oh, well, good. The Lord. I mean, this is the brave Bernie, who's an independent, right? He's not even a Democrat. He's so brave. He should say, yeah, I want her there. I like her. I think she's the best.
Yeah.
Where's brave Bernie? Oh, that's
well,
right.
there's ways to answer it without giving an answer. You could simply say, we'll see what the voting populace does in the next election. There's a lot of different ways. I don't know her future plans. You can ask her.
Right there. I mean, she's very young, and in the future,
I don't know her plans. I don't know. Let's move on. But to get up, you cantankerous piece of shit, wearing your Depends diapers and just urinating while you're interviewed by a man who's probably the worst of the worst at ABC News. That guy.
100%. All right.
If you can't get through him, I don't know who you could get through.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Right.
I bet a lot of people watching right now, they want to know what's up with the JFK files. Anything new?
Oh yeah, we got something
about 40
new.
minutes in. Let's see.
We got something new, but you ain't going to get it right now, because I have uncovered. Now, this is news to me. I've been digging in there. I have uncovered the secret code name that the CIA gave to Lee Harvey Oswald, and I've been looking for this for a long time. And the code name is a cryptonym for Lee Harvey Oswald. And in deference to our supporters on Locals, if you stick with us, I'm going to tell the name when we get over to Locals on the second part of the show, because in deference to them, who have been with us as our strongest supporters, I think it's only fair, Eric, that we release the name. And this is a real piece of news, the actual secret code name of Lee Harvey Oswald, which they have denied a relationship with, for a million years. Now, lo and behold, I've uncovered the secret code name of Lee Harvey Oswald, which I will reveal today. This is not clickbait. I just think it's fair that we do it on locals who deserve it, who've been here a long time with us, if you agree.
Okay, and but by the way, folks, it is free. You won't have to pay a single dime.
No.
All you have to do is just be a free member, and you can
Yeah.
watch it when we reveal it. There's
Going to reveal it live today. This is not clickbait.
no paywall.
There's nothing there. There's no. I'll tell you something. What's getting on my freaking nerves are these different JFK Twitter accounts that spring up, and they're trying to get clickbait by putting any document out there. It really is annoying, Eric. I refuse to be part of that. They're just putting out anything and saying, look, newly discovered. And even Pam Bondi, the only thing she found was an unredaction of an Angleton document mentioning the state of Israel. And I'm going, Jesus Christ, lady, I found plenty of these with unredacted countries on them. I don't see you blasting those out all over the airwaves. And what does it have to do with the Justice Department?
100%. I mean, it's others that are doing it too. Like Morley has milked some of the documents. Everybody's going crazy. He's going crazy about the Schlesinger memo. Now, apparently, there was more there. I think Jim DiEugenio wrote a two-part piece on Kennedy's and King or whatever. And if he writes it out, I'm going to say there's something there.
Yeah, but these are foreign policy things. This is not about the assassination. What Schlesinger was writing is about JFK's foreign policy in regards to interference from the Central Intelligence Agency, which eventually leads to him firing the top guys. That's what it's about. And you can beat this dead horse all you want, but it's not new. It's not really revelatory. I'm sorry. I'm very appreciative of it, but it's not what the people really want to know about. Is really about the assassination. This is assassination adjacent, regarding his foreign policy. Is it one of the reasons he's assassinated? Yeah, I agree. But these are not smoking gun documents. And I don't know if there are any smoking gun documents down there. I haven't gotten through them all yet. And it's going to take months. I'll tell you again for the 50th time. You can't do this in a few days. I just discovered this code name last night. So the reality of it is you can be a clickbaiter and douchebag it and say, I found this, I found that. But that's kind of disingenuous in my humble opinion.
Well, a lot of them are new too. I mean, not to defend them, but a lot of them, it's the first time they've ever looked at the files.
Right.
Oh my God, look at this. Oh my God. Even Mike Benz, but he's admittedly saying, what am I looking at here? This is
he's the only honest broker in this thing. He doesn't know. So he's saying, look, I don't know the genre, that well.
Right.
At least he's admitting that. So he doesn't know one way or the other.
Exactly. So he just points out, that's interesting. This is that.
Well,
but he's not.
That being said, we're going to have part 2 on Mark Lane on Tuesday. This is apparently the only place you can really go for this crap. Part 2 is crazier than part 1. I'll just put it that way. And part 1 had a lot of people who liked it. So if you like that,
it's doing
I think
really well. Part 1 is over 70,000 people.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. The stuff that we do here is pretty well researched. Somebody in the chat I saw before the show was asking where the William Bryan source is for the appearance at the Clay Shore trial. I could answer that right now. There's a guy put up some money for it to see his name over there. I forget the guy's name in the super chat on the side. I'm not looking at it now.
But I'm sorry. Todd Wood. Here you go.
Yeah, Todd Wood. Whoever. I'll answer that right now. It's in William J. Bryan's autobiography.
Oh, okay.
As a source. I just saw that. I just want to answer that guy's one question.
No, that's great. That's great.
He went there as a jury consultant. He invented jury consulting. He wrote a book called The Chosen, and he worked with F. Lee Bailey and other lawyers. He was there supposedly on vacation, but he was working with the Clay Shaw defense, and he talks about it in detail in his book.
Yeah,
which you can find right there. I don't know what page it is, but that's up to you, bro.
The Chosen Ones is the book you wrote.
Hope that helps.
All right.
Anyway, did you see this thing that 1/3 of all judges in DC are foreign born?
Yeah, but to think about this for a second, because that number is potentially even scarier in terms of if 1/3 of all judges are foreign born, and these judges were put into power from Clinton,
Bush,
Obama, and Biden. I would like to know how many of them are Biden appointees, because that could mean, I don't know for sure, I'd have to break down the numbers, but it could mean like 80 or 90% of all Biden judges were foreign born, because I have read
I
that
see what you're
Biden
saying.
quite literally was putting in foreign born judges.
I
That
wouldn't be
was part of
surprised.
the
Yeah, I'd like to see
strategy.
that number. Yeah, it's a good number to find out. I mean, look, he put in 220, Eric, progressive
Right.
judges. Apparently that's their last line of defense for saving their Soviet Union model as they flee to Western Europe. As I've said on Tim Pool the other day, they're going to flee to Western Europe, but they're going to leave these judges behind. The judges will eventually flee themselves when and if they're prosecuted or impeached. But they're leaving them behind as a last line of defense. This guy, Boatsberg, whatever his name is, looks like a guy out of the Third Reich yelling and screaming, at people. And holy crap, is this guy doing their bidding?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, somebody looked that up, because I really do want to know those numbers. I think that's a.
By the way, did you see that? I think you sent me that thread from Glenn Beck about the audio.
I did, because I knew. I'm like, here it is. It's out there. Well, thank you, Alex Jones.
Yeah, thank you, Alex Jones, for doing that. I mean, look, isn't there a way to technically take the voice of Cliff Carter and do a complete voice analysis electronically of the voice? I mean, does this technology exist, Eric?
I mean, well, FBI has some, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. It's a real science or no?
There are audiologists, experts, and there are, there's sciences with audiology or whatever, but I don't know, specifically. But yeah, voice analysis is done in forensic work.
Right.
Like if somebody calls, I got your kid, then they do voice comparisons to find out who, kidnapped.
Why doesn't
somebody.
Glenn Beck spend a couple of dollars and find out for himself, or just for his own edification, if this is really Cliff Carter as the whatever he is, the son says it is, who was shopping it for 8 years around the United States, trying to get somebody to bite on this thing for 8 years, and now Glenn Beck and Alex Jones have bid hard on it.
Well, ask yourself, is what is better for him, proving it wrong or having
it answers its own question. I think you're right. I mean, he could find out if he hires 3 forensic audio analysts and says, I'm not even going to tell you what this is. You don't even have to get into it. Just say, here's some voices. Tell me the percentage of accuracy. And throw in who I think it is, who is Barr McClellan, who, by the way, was the best friend of the family. Yeah,
I agree. I think that Glenn Beck may be a lone nutter anyway.
Is that true?
Well, a lot of them are. I mean, a lot of the old line conservatives. Shapiro, big time.
Yeah,
Shapiro's gone out on a limb saying, no, there is no evidence of any kind. Douglas Murray just said he doesn't believe in that.
That's great. That's crazy, bro. Well, speaking of things from England, Scott Muni, WNEW-FM. Did you see the police going to this woman's door in England, 2:30 in the morning? They're going to arrest her again for putting up something nasty about illegal aliens on social media. The creepiest video I've ever seen. It's like the guy shows up in one of his police vests, a British officer. Apparently, this is happening all the time over there. We've discussed this before. British officer visits a woman in her home, wakes her up at 2:30 in the morning, ordering her to take down a post on social media in which she criticized mass immigration into the UK. I mean, it really is shocking. It really is. I mean, I watched this tape 20 times. I couldn't believe the guy doesn't believe it himself. The police officer doesn't believe what he's doing is real. And yet he's doing it. His heart's obviously not in it, but he's doing the bidding of the powers that be. And the powers that be, apparently, Starmer has said that Americans are not welcome in the UK now. There was an article today. Let me see if I can find this thing by Starmer. I don't get where this guy's going. This is the guy's so weird looking anyway. Breaking, the UK has issued a travel warning, Eric, to the U.S. per Newsweek today. A travel warning. What is that? Holy crap. Wow. This is a new low.
Well, here, actually, you brought up Starmer, and we're
Yeah.
looking, here, let me share this with you.
Oh my God. That's so creepy, bro. That's so creepy.
Yeah.
He might have been the original. He might have been the original guy in media who was doing this stuff. You know what I mean? The original Mr. Rogers, not to say that Mr. Rogers did this.
No, he wasn't.
No, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that there's proximity to children on a TV show and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
We have our own Nickelodeon guy. There's a Netflix doc on Nickelodeon. By the way, there's a Netflix doc called The Twister about this 2011 Twister in Joplin, Missouri, and it's up close and personal with the people who survived, who were graduating from high school that day in 2011. And, you know, they have cell phone videos, all of them. It's relatively new in 2011 that they all have these cell phones, but they have gathered all the footage and the stories of these survivors in this Netflix doc. And holy crap, is it interesting. And you got to watch it carefully because it's a lot of death and destruction in there. It went right through the middle of Joplin, Missouri. I don't even remember this happening.
I think that a YouTuber.
Yes, he got sucked out of the sunroof of an SUV. A YouTuber, 18 years old. It's in the documentary.
Really popular YouTuber.
Had 1.5 million, 2 million followers. He was 18 years old. And got sucked out. They found him later, like a week later, in a pond somewhere.
So horrible, man.
It was horrible, horrible.
And the weird part about the YouTuber is he survived another one, or something happened earlier in his life, and he kind of had like this fate thing about it.
This one guy they featured got a flesh-eating virus because the Twister picked up so many germs and diseases in its movement across the land that the flesh-eating virus started eating him. I'm going like, holy weird.
Ugh.
Wow.
That great. That's the kind of thing that'll keep you up at night. But you know what?
You live in Tornado Alley where they live, you know.
But in order to survive a bad night's sleep, you might want to have some coffee.
You know, the guy sent me this. I'm drinking it right now. It's really good.
Okay, you've got
a bag of this shit.
You've got the new flavor then.
Well, it's not a flavored coffee, but it's a non-flavored good coffee.
Well, it's a breakfast blend, but it's the new.
Right, but it's not flavored. It's not like a vanilla.
No, okay.
When you say flavored, I think of flavors.
I understand.
Right,
it's the new blend.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
Which is mellower. But still really, really rich.
You know what? It is mellow, Eric. You're right. It is mellow.
I like it a lot.
Okay. Well, I've been drinking it.
Well, this is the original America's Untold Stories Supreme Breakfast Blend. Available. Still can do it. But we've come up with that new blend because of the tariff situation with Mexico. I've still got to put together all the suggestions for names. We're going to give it a name, and we may actually shift to that. We don't know for sure, but it is an excellent breakfast blend, as is our original breakfast blend. And this is the one that will get you up and running for sure. The Supreme Breakfast Blend, which is...
it also gets you up and running to the bathroom, which is kind of cool the next day, which is sorry.
Oh, wait, whatever.
No, it's a great coffee. I recommend it. I'm drinking it. And I don't, want to drink it if it's not good. But, we're going to bring it to the meetup, and I don't know if people have signed up for the meetup yet, but there's still some tickets available for the Big Barnes Birthday Bash Ball in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you want to, try the coffee there or bring a name or books, conspiracy books, that would be a good time since I'm driving my car. Hunley is flying, so don't give anything to Hunley.
No.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and Barnes hopefully will not be in jail the day before But Viva, the miniature man who is moving on to DC as an undercover Canadian spy working for the Tories, will be there, and you can confront him about his possible love of Canada and being a double agent, which apparently the rumor is spreading because I just said it. And he's bringing his little boy, who's already at the age of 6 or 7 taller than him, which is a freaky thing.
Is he? I was waiting for that to happen.
I'm kidding.
Oh,
I think it will.
it's
I think it will happen, but I don't think it's happened.
inevitable.
I don't think it's happened yet. But
I think
you're
his daughters are taller.
They are. They are. We went to the play. Oh, we went to his daughter's play. She was very good. In Boca High School, whatever that was, there was like a high school out of a movie. Very big, expensive high school. But the play was the play probably had a budget bigger than my first indie film. I mean, it looked like it had props and wardrobe. Very well done.
Awesome.
By the way, this White Lotus by Mike White, which I'm being forced to watch at gunpoint. Apparently, the costumer in the series has latched onto a guy's costuming and fabric designs from 1967. A guy named Jim Thompson, and who was in Thailand designing fabrics. And it turns out in 1967, 1969, he was CIA and disappeared and was executed in the jungle by Thai secret police. Having nothing to do with the show, the guy's fabrics and designs are being used by the costumer for White Lotus.
Okay. Well, he had
a little CIA connection to this Mike White thing. Also, I think Love on the Spectrum is back. Greatest Day of My Life. One of the greatest shows of all time. I think it's on Netflix. Highly recommended. It's love of couples who are on the spectrum. That's all I'm going to say. I think it's season 2. I don't know which season I'm in now, but holy crap, is it addicting? Love on the Spectrum. There's an Australian. What's that? Yeah.
Is it helping you understand the spectrum now?
Dude, I'm learning so much. There's an Australian version of the show, but it's not as good. Stick with the original, the American version. It's much better.
All right. Let me see. Pamela Clifton said, happy Friday, guys. They all just need to meet in a secret room, talking about Signalgate, I believe. Diffuse 56 gifted 10 America's Untold Stories membership. And not to leave him behind, Dickerson came back with 20 memberships.
By the way, why can't they meet in a room? These people were not in Indonesia. I think they were all in DC.
They were, but they're all over the place. I mean, it's just a convenience factor.
It seemed inconvenient now. I mean,
well, if you add the wrong person, again,
there's nobody to add. In the old days, you had a secret meeting. You met in a room. You brought in your aide.
It would be a conference call half the time. But you're not going to go wandering around and say, "Oh, let's all go hang out in a."
Well, you know what? You might, because of this atmosphere that we're in, it may behoove you to do that.
Maybe, but I wouldn't trust the aides to be in the room. And part of the reason they have the signal
I wouldn't trust the aides either.
They don't trust them.
No aides.
That's why they have the signal chats. I don't know.
Well, the signal chat didn't work. The CEO is the woman we were just watching.
She didn't necessarily backdoor the signal, and from what I've seen, I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, Tucker Carlson claims his signal was hacked when he was dealing with Putin by our people.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Let me see. Helena Olshnik gifted 10 America's Untold Stories memberships.
Did you see that drunken mayor, by the way? Did you see that drunken mayor?
Yeah, I've got it queued up.
Okay. I just want to make sure after you're done with this. Holy crap.
Yeah, the drunken mayor's coming. She's coming. Don't worry. I already had it.
I love that drunken. I love that.
I already had it before you.
Okay. Oh, I'm sure.
James Malfatti. So proud to see you guys on Timcast. Hoping it ups you guys past 130,000 subs.
Highly
we got to
doubtful.
get to 130.
Highly doubtful, my friend. Tim explained Tim explained the electronic or algorithmic problem. We're in a tiny room, and we're boxed in a tiny room by YouTube.
Yeah, and as I said, I would like to be moved into the Tim Pool tiny room because ours is a closet.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he knows everything about where the bodies are buried because he's been doing this a lot longer than me and Eric have. And
by the way, shout out to Joe Neerman, our friend Joe the Jew from Jersey, was on Culture War this morning.
Oh, good.
Tim Pool, arguing with an insufferable guy named Pisco. Just it was a headache to listen to him. You know, somebody on the left, because the culture wars kind of debate.
Oh, that's not going to last. Nobody's going to put up with that. Nobody's going to put up with that. I heard he was explaining it to us, but remember when he was explaining it, I was going like,
yeah,
because I mentioned two-way and how they, you know, that's about as good as you're going to get.
I like two-way quite a lot, but that's a conversation, not a debate.
Right. I mean, I don't think people are going to watch this.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry. I don't want to see Joe Neerman arguing with some, you know, left-wing maniac. It's not my cup of tea.
Right, but there are a lot of people who do love it. You know, internet, you know, debate is a big thing. Ben Shapiro has made a whole lot of hay off of, you know,
but he's got superpowers, bro. He's like a perfect. At Harvard, he ran the debate society. I mean, that's a superpower skill.
Right, but it is out there, and not just him. There are others, but anyway,
well, Mark Lane was one of them. I mean, I wouldn't want to debate Mark Lane.
True. Paul Martin, two Wongs don't make a white. From What's Up, Tiger Lily?
He's talking about Woody Allen, and
and playing on that. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead, and that is a fun one. We'll look at our drunken mayor. Yeah, I actually had the X post with the footage. And
there seems to be two of them, right? There's the body cam footage. Yeah, that's the latest one.
Right.
Her name is Gina LaPaca, 45, mayor of Lumberton, New Jersey. If anybody knows what exit Lumberton is off the Jersey Turnpike, please comment down below.
There's an earlier video of her too, where she was going off on in City Hall.
Wow.
Really?
I
might have that too, but here is her arrest video.
You okay? Yes, I am. Newly released body-worn camera footage from Lumberton police shows the response to Mayor Gina LaPlaca's alleged DUI. Officers met her at her home around 5:40 p.m. on March 17th as she gets her toddler out of the car. She stumbles almost immediately, and an officer asks her about the damaged side mirror. What happened? She tells officers she had just picked up her child. Where you going? From school? Police say a witness contacted them about an erratic driver.
It's still just a lot of swerving, but then up here it gets to the point where like fully off.
The witness recorded cell phone video, which he shows to officers.
I didn't realize there was a kid in the car until like we were at the red light turning left on the 38.
At the house, officers had LaPlaca perform field sobriety tests.
What did you do?
She's then handcuffed and put into the back of a police vehicle.
She could get arrested. The only politician arrested.
In her car, officers found a water bottle with alcohol in it, as well as a small liquor bottle. She was charged with DUI and related offenses.
Since your blood alcohol level was so high, we have to take you to the hospital.
Shortly after her arrest, LaPlaca's husband told Action News she's seeking treatment for addiction. At the township committee meeting last week, residents and committee member Terrence Benson called on LaPlaca to resign as mayor.
This is one of those I kind of feel terrible in a lot of ways. She obviously has a huge problem. Her husband, what was it? Her husband was pretty straightforward about it. He goes, everybody has to hit their bottom. I think
That's a
she
great
finally
line. Except
finally hit hers.
Putting the child in danger.
That part,
like that,
obviously
it's going to be a special circumstance.
This is her in City Hall, like a couple weeks ago.
This is separate?
Yeah. That was her at a City Hall meeting, talking to people in the crowd. She's
if you've got alcohol in a water bottle, that is far progressed. The situation has progressed so far that this is beyond initial alcoholism. In fact, I mean, it's so funny. Over the years, I've heard so many people. I've heard about 5 different people in the course of my life who put the vodka inside the window washer receptacle in the engine, and then the hose was rerouted through the vent so they could drink and drive at the same time through the plastic hose. And when I first heard that, I went, oh man, that's really unique. But by the 5th time I've heard it, I went, what? It's like a movement or something. I don't think she had that, but she, having a water bottle filled with vodka in the car is the next best thing, because these guys who did the window washer thing, they used to be the guys with liquor in the bottle and got caught. So this was the next step. It was quite ingenious, actually.
I have a question on that.
Okay.
What is it? Because there are so many people that think, I'm going to drink vodka because you can't see or smell it. And I'm sorry, I can smell vodka, especially in the military.
They're not just drinking vodka for that. They've switched to white liquors, usually from brown liquor, and then the white liquor is easier to deal with physically than brown liquor. And once they switch to white liquor, they believe they have that. But gin is actually less smelly than vodka. But both, you could smell them both. You're right.
Well, and not only can you smell both of them, in the Army, I had the distinct mispleasure of when we had to do running at PT in the morning. Well, soldiers like to drink. And there's nothing worse than smelling people sweating out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. That is rough.
Well, she put that child in danger, and that the husband, if he does, could get custody over that child. But she should be in rehab. It's a simple solution. But whether she's in there for PR purposes or for legitimate health purposes is going to be decided in 30 days when she comes out.
Well, she's in such, to me, obviously bad shape. She just has to be in there. I hope.
Yeah.
For the kid's sake.
Yeah.
One, she doesn't need to be mayor, obviously. I hope she can leave the job and go get well for the kid.
Yeah. The husband knows everything about it. He's lived with her for all these years.
Can you imagine? That's he's probably in his own personal hell.
Yes, I believe he's in his own personal hell, which is starting to close in on Mayor Bass now, who is being sued by the LA Times for deleting her emails and text messages to avoid serious looks at how she's been running the government. It's $2 billion in the red. She went up to Sacramento and asked for $2 billion, and they said, surprise, we're $100 billion in the red. This is the headline today, just out of breaking out of LA. This is regarding her being in Ghana and coming back late for the fires. In addition, now
Aren't there laws about?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So couldn't this go beyond a lawsuit and possibly be?
Yes, they want.
Maybe the FBI needs to look at this.
FBI definitely needs to get involved here. This is a violation of the law, the city charter, and the Constitution of the state of California. That being said, she's also in a statement issued a statement saying they will streamline the permits for housing if you use and get rid of your gas stove and only go with I swear to God, they never effing quit. There's a document that she released saying she will streamline permits if you go for a 100% electric home rebuild. That means no hot water heater. That means no gas stove. And this is 75 days after the fires, and Corolla knows this, the total amount of permits that have been issued by her multiple streamlining agencies, and there were multiple people sitting at tables all day and night, according to her, 4 permits have been issued. 4.
Probably her cronies.
It reminds me exactly of Maui, where I went over and looked at the Maui rebuild, and they had 2 permits issued after a year and a half. 2.
Wow.
So now she's threatening to cite the homeowners who don't have a home anymore if they don't clear their own land of the wreckage of their homes. She's going to begin to fine the victims of their destroyed homes that are on their land. And I think it's leading to seizure. I'm going to stick my neck out here. And
yeah, that's the way to get the money.
Yeah, I think eventually this is a road to go to seizure of the properties, which I think is their ultimate Marxist goal. But I'm going to take it a step further. I believe she's going to use the properties to build an Olympic village for the Olympics. Just a random prediction coming out of my ass. I got a funny feeling because there's nowhere to put it. You know how you have to have an Olympic village, Eric? You know, when you have the Olympics? Well, there's nowhere to really put that. And this would get her federal money. That's right. And it would cover a lot of different bases to build a prefab, fab, whatever you want to call it, temporary, permanent thing that all these Olympics have gone through. Sometimes the structures remain for decades, or sometimes
Lake Placid has a lot of that up still.
Absolutely. I've been there.
Yeah. So I mean,
Montreal still has stuff.
As a matter of fact, LA had some.
Yeah.
That was the only reason that LA is the only city that didn't lose their ass on the Olympics
82.
In 82, because they used pre-existing facilities. Every other city has been forced to build up new, and they've all lost their asses doing that. The Olympics has been proven to be a garbage investment for cities. But what you're describing makes me think about this. I don't know if you saw the exchange.
You know, I couldn't watch it. I started to. It was just too douchey. But go on. Well,
there are nice little high points.
Okay.
States must run a competitive sub-granting process.
Oh my fucking God.
And it is literally throughout the whole thing of Ezra Klein breaking it down. And you can watch Jon Stewart lose his mind.
States must submit a 5-year action plan. So the states kind of go back and they kind of think about how they're going to do this. States must submit a
essentially, and I'm not going to play the whole 5 minutes. Look for it on X. It is fascinating because Ezra Klein is breaking down the entire 14-part process for the people getting the Build Back Better broadband from Biden. How all these agencies applied. At the end of all 14 steps, there's only 4. They haven't built a single bit of bandwidth for anybody.
Right.
And Jon Stewart,
he doesn't know anything about this, does he?
His mind. He's just
he doesn't know about the fact that they built like 4 charging stations under Tim Buttigieg in the transportation department, EV chargers, with multiple billions of dollars invested in EV.
Pete Buttigieg, but yeah.
What did I say?
Tim.
Oh, who's Tim Buttigieg? It's his brother.
You probably mix him up with Tim Walz.
Oh, I see.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Well, Tim Walz, apparently they uncovered that the Chinese Communist Party literally runs the state of Minnesota in this article.
Canada.
I mean, the influence, they have a secret building in the middle of Minneapolis somewhere, a stone building that has all of the communist agencies in one building, Eric. If you scroll down, maybe they'll show you a picture of, there it is. Look at this
brutalist
building.
Architecture. Yeah.
Nice brutalist architect. There's Adrian Brody getting anally raped in an alleyway there. Well, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen.
Well,
look at this, dude. They own this piece of shit, and they run and bought the state of Minnesota. They already have the state of Washington.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Oregon, Oregon
is gone.
Oregon, and California has been the battle to the death since day one here.
Yep.
Look at this. Look at this. Dude, this is insane. All right, look, they all got to go. They physically get this guy Holman over there and just physically get him out of here. That would be number one. Visa, no visa. Just get him the F out of Minnesota.
I agree. While we're on California, though, I wanted, you sent me this story, so I thought you might want to break it down. The Southern California woman charged after police seized $350,000 with.
This was just
she's a hoarder. Was she like a shoplifting hoarder?
Oh no! This is her inventory for Amazon and eBay. This is her storage facility, bro. Look at this.
Wow.
No, she's not hoarding anything.
Damn.
This is her operation.
Slot machines too.
In the back, she had slot machines. Yeah, you could go in and play the slots, which is great. But holy,
that was her more honest business.
That was her above board illegal slot machines of the business. Yeah, police said the number of items was so overwhelming that they needed to rent a U-Haul to get it out of there. This is what's been going on since COVID, people. And Nathan Hochman is the guy that got him. And Nathan Hochman, again, making news for putting the death penalty back on the table in LA County politics and LA County crime.
Yeah, he's doing a good job as DA.
Dude, everybody's talking about it here. You go into the supermarket, the cashier's talking to you about Hochman. Everybody's whispering about Hochman now because they were so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And Eric and I talked about this. The death penalty doesn't mean they're going to be frying or gassing people anytime soon, but you use it as a negotiating tool.
Yeah, it's the highest, something you could take off the table. Or if especially, and I think this is where it gets really important, is if somebody, for example, has somebody else captive and they could be dying, they could be buried, so something.
Yeah.
That might be the only thing to point out where this person is, or help a family be reunited with their loved one who they lost.
How about flipping a double murder guy, one against the other? You
Absolutely.
flip the guy and say, look, we'll take the death penalty off. That's been done traditionally going back to 100 years.
Yep, it's the highest level of negotiation. If you take it off the table, I mean, what are you going to say? Well, you're going to be in prison with life without parole.
Or
what? Reduce your commissary privileges? What are you going to do to them?
I know.
It's just a horrible.
Well, Hochman is straightening this thing out pretty quickly here. I mean, shockingly well done by Hochman.
Well, isn't that encouraging to see how quickly you can flip things? Like, like it is not irreversible. Sometimes these things have felt so bad that it was like we're just too far gone.
It's shocking how fast the American system can rebound if you play the game honestly of basketball, whatever the game is. It's held together well enough where it immediately rebounds from being stretched like a rubber band to the extremes of communist China. It's shockingly fast. I really do. It is amazing.
I mean, that's a little bit of a white pill, but it is encouraging.
Yeah. I don't know about this guy. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, Red Maze, did Hoover have any role in the JFK plot? JFK playlist is so fascinating and informative. Thanks for the hard work, guys. Thank you.
Well, he definitely has a role, but I believe it's a lot less than Allen Dulles and the CIA. I mean, this was an international situation. I mean, generally speaking, they become a nuisance, the FBI. They become a nuisance to the Dallas police. They become a nuisance to the Warren Commission. So again, it's weird how effective they are. And as I've said, a lot of the FBI files, the 302s, were straightforward and contradict the Warren Commission and contradict and prove a lot of things in my lifetime that I was able to read, like Lenny Mae Randall and Wesley Buell Frazier's mother, who in a 302 to the FBI said that Oswald didn't carry anything when he got into her son's car to go to work that day, that he had a regular Chinese school brown lunch bag, and he put that into the outer pocket of his coat. And that was it. No curtain rods, no big package, no gun. And that is a readable document. That is a FBI 302, as is the manager of the Texas School Book Depository, who on the loading dock, when Oswald got out of Frazier's car, saw him completely exposed, walking to the building to punch in, nothing in his hands. Take it for what it's worth, but that's a 302 that the FBI actually have.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Spinner Pete said the leftists / communists infiltrate. The right / capitalists accept any minority communists so they look good in the media. This is in their road.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if it's intentional, but the first part's intentional.
But there is the fear of, oh no, look, we're accepting all the time.
They're mentally retarded. They're mentally retarded. This guy's back. He's got more.
Again, what an outstanding job on Tim's show. Thank you, Dick.
We're professionals. It doesn't matter where the show is. Ever heard of the debate of land? Yeah, of course. We talked about it last week.
And probably be more so.
Yeah.
Mike Smith with $50. Thank you. Mark, this is for you and Eric, an appreciation for you guys keeping the truth at the forefront.
Well, tell that to YouTube. That's why we've got 120,000 subs. Apparently, truth is not one of YouTube's goals. They have other goals.
No, I mean, what they don't really care that much. Lady Freddie, Rep Gill is married. Oh, that's right. He's married to Dinesh D'Souza's daughter.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
the one
a
who was
weird-
questioning our girl.
Weird mix.
I
What a weird
forgot about
random
that.
mix.
Dick Dickerson, I live 45 minutes west of Joplin. We get tornadoes every day, year.
Right. No, that's what I figured. Yeah. I mean, based on the documentary, they talk about that in some detail.
It's Tornado Alley, I think.
It's Tornado Alley. Yeah, that's what they were talking about.
I think most people think Oklahoma, but I know Missouri gets a lot.
I didn't realize Missouri was in Oklahoma, in Tornado Alley.
Yeah, yeah. Life of Brian, MAGA needs an accountability mechanism to compete with the donor GOP. Where are our leaders?
He says leakers, not leaders.
Oh, our leakers. Sorry, our moles. Our organized pressure vectors. MAGA needs to drop the sycophancy. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I said
Pressler actually drove to Wisconsin and is scrambling there right now, trying to. It's like
one long-haired gay guy is apparently the face of MAGA now in terms of street smarts. I mean, there's got to be others who, where is the Lee Atwater of the populist movement? Where is where is the new Roger Stone? I mean, I've said this repeatedly on the show. There's got to be some Scott Presslers out there who are willing to roll up their sleeves and get dirty doing this dirty work.
Yes, I mean, we definitely need an Atwater or somebody. I don't know. Dick Dickerson, I live. I already said that. Sorry. If you haven't watched Glenn Beck's assassination reenactment, just
really, I need to learn from Glenn Beck, bro. That's it. I'm going to learn about the assassination after 50 years of studying it from this ex-rehab Vicodin addict turned Mormon turned whatever he is now. He's going to explain it to me.
But we have all the love in the world for Blaze Network and our friend Alex Stein.
Oh, yeah, Stein. Yeah, Stein, I love. Yeah.
Let me see. Andy Luber.
Nutter. If you've got a name, come to the meetup and bring it with you and open it up out of an envelope. We'll have each person read the name they've come up with at the meetup for the breakfast blend in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, Diffuse 56. I lived in Lumberton for about 5 years. I know one of the cops.
What exit is that off the turnpike there, Diffuse?
Yeah, most important question about
that's the only thing I can use geography wise. I mean, I've never even heard of Lumberton.
That's just too damn funny.
You got to tell us what exit.
All right, fair enough. Helena Alejnik. I struggle with the name with 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you very much. She's not going to have a trade war with us. She's, crossing the line. No.
Boy, they're really getting volatile up there, Eric, with their verbal assaults.
Yeah, it's well.
I mean, what part of tariff? What part of tariff don't you understand, bro? It's part of life. It's not like we invaded you militarily. I mean, for the love of God, it's an economic thing.
Right. Well, I mean that is economic warfare, technically.
What leveling the playing field? I mean, they didn't have tariffs against us not being.
Well, they have a lot of tariffs that are
I
completely ridiculous.
Right.
No, hopefully the tariffs just get knocked off the table. Then we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
Have actual free trade.
The day he takes away those tariffs up there, who's ever running that communist commonwealth, the day Trump will drop them.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think they need to take them away. I think just got to get them down a lot. I mean, some of them are certain tariffs, like some of the agricultural ones are really crazy. They're like 80% or, like just super high numbers.
It's like somebody exposed them for the fraudulent economy that they are as a socialist state. And they can't survive without these tariffs. I think that's really what's going on. And they're having a temper tantrum, Eric.
Well, it's a protectionist racket. I mean,
that's right. It's a racket. It's a protectionist racket. Yeah.
Because, and I kind of get some of it, especially agriculture. They have their own farmers. They want to make sure that Canadians only buy Canadian.
Okay. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, then, Eric.
Right. So if it's reciprocal, it's like, okay, we're protecting ours, you're protecting ours.
Yeah. But all of a sudden to be name calling,
Yeah. Well, especially that Doug Ford. Ooh.
Yeah. What's with this guy, Doug Ford? I mean, what is he? The leader of the crackheads over there?
That's his brother. But
well, maybe the apple. Let me tell you something. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Well, there were claims that he was a drug dealer.
Really? What a shock that
claims.
is.
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying it.
One thing I found in rehab, the rehab business, usually the one addict is not alone in the family. Let me just leave it at that.
Right.
That would be rare. The parents always show up and they go, you know, our poor son, we try to help him, and both parents are alcoholics.
All right. Scott Bimbo, I've been asked twice in recent if Jackie O had family in CIA. Only person I could think of was quasi Uncle George de Mornschild. Not sure the spelling. Is it the file?
That is the right spelling.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, look, de Mornschild had a relationship with Blackjack Bouvier, her father. So that's not so crazy. I mean, her father was dead, but he reaches out through her mother to talk to Jackie, which is kind of creepy. And then the mother doesn't put him through to Jackie. I don't know what he was calling her about, but he was very close to the father, which is really bizarre.
All right. NJ Kathy said it is exit 5 near Mount Holly.
Thank you. Now I got it. Now I got it.
Okay, weirdos.
Oh, Hoaxes. What exit is Hoaxes? Mawa. There's a lot of weird Indian names in Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eric Booter's a new member, and Carlos Sains is a new member. Thank you both. The question that'll never stop coming. What are your thoughts on James Earl files on the JFK assassination?
Yeah, what is it about that, Timmy? What do you think it is?
Well, I did tell you I did searches for the name, and for some reason never came up. Like in all the JFK files, James Files isn't filed.
Well, he had a good idea for a name, James Files, knowing that the files will come out 60 years later. He was way ahead of the curve. His real name is
Sutton anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's not his real name, right?
Yeah, I think he's James Sutton, aka James File. He's a criminal.
Why would they make a phony? Why would they make a phony video to trick Tim Rosenthal into thinking James Files was a real assassin? Because it works, is the answer.
Yeah. We don't think he did it. We think he's full of shit, to answer your question, Tim. Pat M. Just because. Thanks. How many dopes are out there now that are JFK experts?
I don't know, but they weren't before, and they seem to be a lot of them now.
Well, as a matter of fact, that was funny. Somebody said, have you been looking, do you follow the JFK Files X account? And I was like, what X account? And I just search JFK Files. There's like 20 accounts that all have some variant of the
different
name.
Accounts?
Oh, yeah. It's a new industry.
It could be possible that the deep state has some phony Twitter accounts doing that just to throw us off.
Why not?
I would if I was an
you just put up files. I mean,
you just put up things. Look what I found.
I mean, you get monetized on X. I'd probably be doing even better on X if I was just putting up files and clickbait and saying, "Look, Israel, it says Israel." Sorry. Carlos said,
there's another one. Yeah, Daniel Sheehan.
Daniel Sheehan recently said on a podcast, LA show did shoot one shot.
Mm-hmm.
The one that hit the curb in order to be framed as Patsy. He said the pilot Jenkins that flew the shooters out of Dallas was still alive. What say you, Mark? Okay, so Lee Harvey Oswald said, let me shoot at a curb so I could say Patsy when they come to arrest me at a theater when I'm How does that work again?
I don't know, but Daniel Sheehan is a deep state fraud, and anyone who follows him should take that into account.
All right, I'll go with Mark's.
Yeah, he's a deep state operative, Daniel Sheehan.
All right, the CCC video channel, a Deep State Ops. It is said by Madeline Brown and Mae Newman that Hoover visited the Clint Murchison, is that right? Mansion the night before the assassination. Murchison, that's right. With the cast of characters said to be there, Hoover would have known something was going down. We covered Madeline Brown.
Yeah.
As an episode. So you guys might want to check that out. We do go into detail.
Yeah, he was there. There's a number of sources for that story. But also you could look at the same thing with
Nixon was in town too.
With the Martin Luther King story, how Hoover pulled his men out and started to to allow what was going to happen. I mean, so it's not that unusual that he knew what was going on and what was going to go down.
Well, you know what? To celebrate this being the start of baseball season,
we're
close enough to the start. We've got a super chat from George Orwell.
George Orwell in the house.
Saying that Beckett Shapiro are Robin Ventura and you two are Nolan Ryan.
Robin Ventura, it's kind of interesting. I think he played third for the Brewers at one point. I don't know. I'm trying to understand this connection here between Robin Ventura. Oh, because there was a fight between Ryan, the pitcher, and Robin Ventura, the batter. Absolutely. Now I remember.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, let's I've got some more stories. Don't worry. We're not out of stories.
Yeah. How about this guy on the moped?
Well, I've got that one too.
Okay, go ahead.
I like this one better.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, good one, Eric.
All right. This politician found a noose on her desk. Uh-oh. And the press conference was just so beautiful from the cops.
Oh my God.
You had this cop and he played it completely straight. And essentially, she reported that a noose was found, and the cops, to their credit, immediately swirled in, grabbed it, and they said, "Oh, ma'am, we'll need to get your DNA, and we want DNA from everybody else in the area." She said, "No, you don't need my DNA. What are you talking about?" And they said, "Oh, ma'am, we're going to have to get your DNA." She goes, "You know what? Never mind. I want to drop anything. I want to drop any charges. I don't want to hear this anymore." Ultimately, they did get her DNA, and coincidentally, the only DNA found in the noose, not only on the outside, because she would have handled the outside, makes sense. Yeah. But inside, you know how there's a nice little rope there.
Yeah.
The DNA inside of the knot was hers.
Jussie Smollett. She's pulled a Jussie.
Yes, she did. And this
has any of these ever been for real? I mean, what is the percentage that are fake? It's in the high 90s.
It is in the extremely high 90s. Some of them are great. There's a guy, Will Riley, who I've interviewed multiple times, and he wrote the book Hate Crime Hoax.
Oh, I remember. He's like a professor in Kentucky or something.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah,
he was talking about it. Now, it is not only minorities who are making the hate crime hoaxes claims.
Are Jews doing it too, Eric?
There might be, but no. Surprisingly, cops.
Oh, cops. Yeah.
There have been multiple cop incidents where they've written like on a Starbucks cup saying "Die pigs."
Well, how about firemen who start fires?
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to point that out.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out though that there is that other side. Sometimes there's hoaxes that have come out, from cops doing that.
There was this story that may have slipped between the cracks of Vivek Ramaswamy calling for implementing the first of its kind merit-based pay for public school teachers, Eric. I don't know if you saw that as part of his gubernatorial campaign.
No, I like
right. That's why I'm bringing it up. It kind of slipped through the cracks. I just wanted to give him a tip of the hat for this. Teachers' pay would be based on performance in the state of Ohio. Who's ever in favor of that, just comment down below. Some people may not like it because it may incentivize teachers to do crazy crap or something. But if you are in favor of it, what, you think it's good?
Yeah, I mean,
no.
But when you said that it could incentivize things, it's kind of like the whole. How many times did you hear "stop teaching to the test"?
Yeah, that's why I'm mentioning. If you have an opinion like this,
but
comment down below because there may be another opinion.
There could be, but I'm like, but there has to be something. There has to be, so maybe it's not perfect, but I like that he's thinking about it and coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe there are better ones, but a good example is the, teaching to the test bit is,
well, that's the other extreme,
at least
right?
Teaching to something. There is some sort of a performance standard, and it helps people determine. I mean, why did they use SATs and ACTs forever? Well, because it would kind of say people who take this test will probably be able to do better in class. So I don't know. I think that's good. Performance standards, that makes us.
By the way, here's a picture of the communist who was arrested in the firebombing of the Tesla dealership. This guy, everybody knows a guy, at least I do. Everybody knows a guy who looked like that, who is a far left Marxist, at least growing up. There was always that Asian guy with the long Confucius at every march I ever went to. There was always that guy who looked like that, who was a member of the Communist Party. A DNA match is why I'm mentioning it. His DNA was on the things related to the firebombing. And he had a rifle. He had a rifle. He was shooting out the cameras, the surveillance cameras at the dealership, Eric.
Well, yeah, I mean,
this guy was a pro.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of less pro.
Oh, yeah. This guy's not a pro.
No.
But you do what you can with what you have.
And he has a lot.
Look at that. Look how far back he goes. Look how far back he is, Eric.
This is so fun. Okay. Come on. Yeah. But just, I'm sorry. I'm not happy about that. I like how he's picking it out of his butt.
Oh my God. It's crazy.
Ramming
speed. Ramming speed. Go ahead.
I mean,
just show him again.
It wouldn't be cool if it was your car, but it is hilarious to watch. I'm sorry. This is like the Keystone Thug.
Well, this one on go ahead. That's a good one again. Go ahead.
Go.
What is on his back? What is that? A tire inflator?
It looks like a pump. Yeah, bicycle pump.
Because he's 450 pounds, the tires probably deflate halfway through the day.
I know, but things about to fall apart.
Well, he lives on that thing. That's his home away from home. Oh my God! Go ahead. Go one more time. Let's just see this. It does that little loopy thing to get momentum.
Yeah. Well, come on. That go-kart.
Yeah, you know, I got a feeling it's not doing any damage, and he's getting frustrated.
I think it's very. I love he's pulling.
How about this one? Did you see? This is one from Tim Pool. That this is somebody being filmed while they're filming themselves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tim put up
with the swastika. Yeah, I saw that too. I like. Yeah, they're holding the phone and doing.
But they don't. There's two in New Hampshire, by the way. Maybe these brothers, the Jackman brothers, may be on this, but they brought on Sununu on TV to talk about it. The two up in New Hampshire at the most expensive hotel in New Hampshire were outside keying Teslas. Two grown adult men who are in their 60s were keying these Teslas, and the police show up and they're saying, let's see some ID. And they begin to interrogate them, already knowing that the Tesla has filmed them doing this. The cowards deny all of it instead of saying, yeah, I did it, I'm willing to take a rap on a misdemeanor vandalism charge, I think he's a Nazi, they just go, no, we didn't do anything. And he's going, well, the car filmed you, bro. I mean, it's just breathtaking cowardice.
It's stupid. I mean, how you would think by now, by the way, after about 100 of these that have been filmed, people go, you know what? Maybe we need to rethink this. Maybe we need a hood. Maybe we need a mask. I mean, here's this millionaires. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
She went just attacking people in a Tesla. And she's been charged. They're claiming this one's a road rage case.
Good.
But whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The truth is, it is terrorism.
Absolutely.
If I owned a Tesla right now,
it's not vandalism. Vandalism is spray painting or tagging a wall with a can of spray paint. That's not what this is. This is politically motivated, extreme amount of money involved, and politically oriented towards owners of a particular type of vehicle.
Yeah, it is explicitly with the intent of causing terror.
Absolutely.
And the people who own that vehicle to
they showed a
guy.
They showed a guy who's in the fast lane on a highway here the other day in LA, and he gets cut off by a guy who slams on his brakes. This is in the speed lane, Eric, on the far left lane, and it looked like it was right over here. He slams on his brakes, so the Tesla guy is filming him through the windshield. He backs up And the guy can't go anywhere. He gets out of his car and starts filming the Tesla guy, giving him the finger and everything. And the Tesla guy's commenting on it while it was happening.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about the one where they hit the kid?
No. Oh, that's the other one. I was just going to tell you that one too. That was yesterday. Yeah, he ran over the kid in the.
That's just horrible. I didn't even collect that because it's just so. Yeah.
That's on my greatest hits album.
Yeah, I think it's terrible. And the one who's arguing with him, it's like both of you helped that kid get hurt. That's a horrible thing.
You know, I thought Rick Grinnell was going to go to the UN originally. Wasn't? And now he's running the Kennedy Center. That's putting on Les Mis for 12 weeks. Do we need Rick Grinnell putting on Les Mis at the Kennedy Center? I'm just asking. If you think so, put down the comment down below where Rick Grinnell should go.
Maybe that's a reward to him.
It is a kind of reward. I'm sure he loves doing it. I mean, but I think there may be some other valuable thing he could do, Rick Grinnell.
He has done a lot, though. I mean, so it's like, here, you do that for 12 weeks. Now you get back to work over here.
Okay.
That's your vacation.
Straighten out the Kennedy Center.
Why not? Okay, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about this trip to Greenland? I feel like it's kind of
Why can't you go to Greenland? Why not?
No, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's not really being reported a whole lot. And I didn't realize about the dog race and all that. Do you
No, I don't know anything about the dog race. I know we've got a military base there that he's visiting, which is rightfully so.
Right. Well, apparently, they have a major dog race there, similar to what they have in Alaska or whatever. And it's a big deal to the country, but they have not had any money. And I guess Trump found some money for them to do a grant and is supporting them with that base. And the people in Greenland who were running the dog race were so happy. And I think Usha was working on it or whatever. They were so happy with it, the dog sled race. They asked her, hey, would you like to attend the dog, as a thank you, come attend it. And she said, sure.
Okay.
And Denmark threw a tantrum saying it's completely inappropriate. You're not allowed to be there. The prime minister attacked the trip as unacceptable and warned that she would stand against it.
It's almost as if Denmark is protesting too much. In general.
Yeah, it is.
Like, what is it about Greenland that is just upsetting the Danish? I mean, it seems like something is rotten in Denmark.
Well, there was something definitely rotten in Denmark. Apparently, they're saying some things in here that are very interesting. Like last year, a group of Greenlanders launched a historic lawsuit against the Danish government for the mass IUD birth control campaign that was waged in the 60s and 70s, urging thousands of women on the island,
population down,
many without their knowledge.
Oh my God.
In 2020, Prime Minister Frederiksen was forced to apologize to Greenlandic children who had been removed from the island to be re-educated in Denmark as part of a failed social experiment. So
oh my God, this
sounds
crazy.
To me like, how Canada's got their problems with indigenous people.
Yeah.
It sounds like Denmark's indigenous people are Greenlanders, so it may be starting to pick at a wound there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Wow. Bury my heart a wounded knee. Whoa. They don't want this scab uncovered by Trump and Vance.
No, and I think they see a vulnerability.
Did they sterilize these native people of Greenland, Eric?
That apparently ran the IUD program, and against their knowledge, what do you call that?
Well, we had USAID. They have IUD. Is that the same program?
Maybe it's their Planned Parenthood. Tim Spengler said, "Eric the Red China."
Eric the Red China. That's funny.
But I don't know. I think that there's a vulnerability there. What's weird is I saw a headline that Putin's starting to throw a tantrum about U.S. and Greenland. So I don't know what's going on there.
Well, he's got other fish to fry right now. He doesn't have to get involved in this. Nevertheless, it looks like that thing is going to come to an end at some point in the next month.
Well, one can hope.
Well, I originally said Easter Sunday ceasefire. That was one of my original prognostications around Election Day, and I think that may be coming true.
Well, especially with their being very orthodox.
Yeah,
And
it's a great time for everyone to ceasefire. And what happens is once just so people, you're a Russia hater out there. What happens is right before a ceasefire, the aggressor goes crazy, knowing that there's going to be a ceasefire to get as much as they can, which I think is happening right now.
Yep. Okay. I'm curious what your thought is about the Alex Jones was sharing it, others are sharing it, people have sent it to me about under the pyramids.
Oh, I didn't even look at this. You better take this one. This one sounded.
It seems a bit of a stretch, but
yeah. And the guy didn't look like an expert. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, that supposedly under the Great Pyramid of Giza, they have a new technology that is not LiDAR. Right. Don't call it LiDAR. It is similar to LiDAR, but not LiDAR. It's new, next level advanced technology. And they created these giant structures that they're claiming are 2 kilometers deep.
I believe there are tunnels down there. I absolutely believe there's tunnels. I mean,
but 2 kilometers, that's 1.5 miles down.
It could be
structures.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like,
look, they built a thing on top of it. I mean, nobody could figure out how they built that other than Jewish slave labor, which is what they used for multiple generations, enslaving the Jews to build the pyramids, as we all know now. But the tunnels are probably a part of the operation. Yeah. I don't know about this thing. This technology just seems like some sort of Isaac Asimov thing.
Right. And they still don't figure out exactly about the pyramids, like you said. The interesting theory that makes a certain amount of sense is that they dug them out.
Like, okay, I've heard that too. I've heard that.
And it's like, okay, that's possible.
I could buy that. I could buy that.
But and then about the massive earthquake in Thailand.
Dude, that looked crazy, Eric. I mean, the video on that earthquake, it looked like a tsunami combined with earthquake, combined with 9/11.
Well, a lot of tsunamis do come out of earthquakes. But yeah, it's
Thailand does not look like a stable place to invest.
Oof. Well, and I mean, it's literally a skyscraper that falling over on these people.
Yeah, wow. I just don't feel comfortable in these type of third world superstructure things.
That's just sad. Yeah. I mean, that's horrible. And God bless. Oh,
look at that buckling. Oof. Yeah, we get some buckling here, but that's an extreme one.
Well, it's like 7.7 or something. It was
7.7 is going to do that. I mean, a 6 does an immense amount of damage. 7.7 is forget it. That's off the charts. Look at that. The 8 is like end of the world.
Wow, really, really bad times.
They were showing in this Twister thing in Joplin, Missouri.
Yeah, 7.7.
7.7. That's an enormously high magnitude. Enormously high. They were showing in the Twister thing in Joplin how these people were pulling up in their cars, and the cars were already just twisted hulks of metal. They were driving on their rims, trying to find safety somewhere, and they were already wounded in their own twisted wreckage vehicles that had been destroyed semi-destroyed by the Twister, but they're trying to escape and get somewhere, wounded and injured.
Okay. Yeah. Tornadoes I find to be just horribly frightening because hurricanes I think are scary enough, and hurricanes can spin off tornadoes.
Yeah,
but a high level tornado is like triple the power of a hurricane. It's just condensed, and it's a buzzsaw. It's like a train blowing through whatever the hell.
Dude, I told you, I had my brother's stupid Ford Tiempo, and I drove from New York to California. My biggest fear as a kid was twisters, so I researched the shit out of it, and this was in the 90s. And I said, what are the odds? It was in August, and I get to Waco, and there's 2 twisters, not one, but 2 crisscrossing the 40 in front of me, and I'm having a panic attack. And I'm driving, and it says on the radio is exploding with different voices on every channel. And I'm near Waco, and it says get to one of the overpasses and go underneath. And I said, okay. Of course, every single one is filled already by people, and there's no room to go anywhere, and it's just wide open. And I'm going like, what do I do? Do I stop and have the car taken up into the air? Do I keep driving through it? They were crisscrossing the 40. It was like my worst nightmare. And I just decided to keep driving through. And it was just sheets of rain like you've never seen before with wind. And the car is rocking. And you don't know whether to drive slow, drive faster, pull over. And you really feel like a donkey in a hailstorm, to quote LBJ.
I was just thinking, you really want to have, like in Twisters, that stupid ass drill thing that the guy had just go into the ground.
I didn't have that, but when I don't get afraid, what happens to me is I get angry and I yell out loud at God, like, you got me into this mess, and you better get me out.
You and Gary Sinise and Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's what happens to me. I start yelling out loud at God.
Yeah, well, I guess it's worked for you so far.
It's worked so far. I mean, holy crap.
All right,
but I said, it was so funny because I went, oh, fuck me. I'm like going in the car. I'm going like this as I see it. Oh, fuck me. Jesus Christ. Now what? 2 Twisters.
Oh, my God. We had the Blackbeard Festival here in Hampton every year. I live in downtown, but this one year we had a tornado that went right through the downtown about a block from my house, and I had
please,
no
if
idea.
you have experienced
I had no idea. It
tornado,
scared the
like
shit out of
Eric,
me after the fact.
Please put it in the comment down below and tell us where you live and your experience with the Twisters. I'd love to read those comments of people who had Twister experience like Eric did. And I did.
I did it though. The really fucked up thing is, the fucked up thing is I didn't know until after the fact. It was like, a tornado. I was like, oh my God, because it was right nearby and I totally missed it. Didn't know anything about it. And I didn't think we had tornadoes here. That was something that I had to
once
learn.
in a while they do pop up anywhere, right? I mean, you could get a funnel.
They spawn out a hurricane.
Right, a funnel thing.
But oh my God, we get tornado watches and warnings now. But here's the crazy one. In like 2011 or something, we had a damn earthquake in Virginia.
That's rare.
It was like the first earthquake in 80 years.
That's rare.
I had no idea what was happening at the time. It was the freakiest.
I had one in New York, in the city, apparently.
I think that might have been the same one. It was
the same one, yeah.
All the way from here, there. I just, when you've never had it and you don't know what it is, it was just.
Well, remember the tsunami in Japan that took out the nuclear reactor.
Yeah, that's actually, they weren't that far apart. It was not that far apart in time.
Right.
All right. Angie Credito with $2. Thank you. Robin Williams with £2. Big hi from Scotland. We love you in Scotland.
Dude, we have a lot of Scottish followers.
Yeah, we do. And by
here we go.
Nola.
Here we go.
As a teacher, my pay shouldn't be based on the whims of a teenager. Basing pay on student performance gives them too much power. Cannot make
Eric?
Learn.
I told you it was going to be pushback.
Well,
it's not that cut and dry.
Sure. Michael Hebner with a super sticker. Thank you. GG Evan 317. Never take cover under an overpass from a tornado. If you're in a car, best thing to do is a 180 in daytime. Nighttime, you're pretty much screwed.
A 180? What does he mean? Turn around and drive back the other way?
I'm guessing, yeah.
I came from New York. Well, I was in Waco. What am I going to do? Drive back to Brooklyn? Or just drive the other?
Drive
it was
away
coming
from
at me, but it was coming this way.
So 180, turn around, fucking drive as fast
and
as
race it back to. No,
I don't know.
I never thought of that one.
Yeah, good luck. But you know what? We will be continuing this discussion on locals, including, because I want to know the Oswald CIA name for him.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is myself, folks.
Okay.
So this is going to be new to me. Head over to locals again on structure.locals.com. It is free to be a member. You can support us and donate. You get the Oswald audio drama. I will be trying to get the LBJ up this weekend. Audio drama as well. There's other documents, things that are happening all the time. And I do a grill stream there that a lot of people enjoy on Saturdays. We just kind of hang out. And I will see you, or we will see you over on Locals momentarily.